Hi guys, this is Dormouse03.
And I'm Praetorian.
Welcome to March edition of Ramblings of Mad People. Da da da
Du-du-du-du-du.
da. Oh boy. So we're a little bit late recording this month because poor Mr. Praetorian has been under the weather.
Yeah, I've had like a sore throat for it feels like 3 to 4 weeks at this point,
Ugh,
and it wouldn't go away. And it hasn't turned into anything else. So it's just kind of camped in the back of my throat being an irritant.
that's frustrating.
So I don't think my voice is back 100%, but it's a lot better than it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, so we're gonna try to make this work. It's actually I think we're fairly short this month because both of us didn't do a whole ton. I did a few shorty games and you did some DLCs, right?
Yeah, that's literally all I did on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. So, it might be a light month for us this month, but we're gonna talk about what we did do. So, the first thing that I played this March was a little game called Beacon Pines. It's an adventure game. It's on Games Pass. And you play as this cute little anthropomorphic deer who's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years old or something. His father died when he was young, and his mother has gone missing in the small town of Beacon Pines. You team up with a group of animal buddies to uncover the dark mystery behind the town. So it's just this little mystery story, but I thought that it was well presented and well executed. It's all kind of framed as this story that's being told, so it'll cut from the section of the game that you're doing to a page in a book where the narrator will read a little bit about, what's happening in the section that you've just completed.
That's cool.
And yeah, I thought that was neat. And then it was a nice little framing device. And then it has these little story branches, which it visually represents as this like tree with branches going out. And you can move back to any like decision moment on the tree at any point. So you reach a decision point, it branches off, then you might reach another branch and another, and then you get toward the end and you're like, this isn't going well, or we have more information now, or more options now than we did before. And then you can go all the way back to the beginning decision point, to like the first one, and play back from there and do things differently. And the way that you make different choices is you have to find these things, they call them charms in the game, but they're like words. So you might jump on a bed and you get the word jump. And then when you reach a decision point and it says, he couldn't think of what to do and so he decided to, and you can fill in the blank with like jump now because you have that word, right?
Which you didn't have before, but
Which you
got
didn't
because
have
you jumped on the
before.
bed.
Exactly. So it rewards like exploring the environment and like talking to different people and looking through things, and that helps you find more of these little charms. And then you have more words that you can use at some of the different decision points, and so you can go back and like redo stuff. And it's pretty cool. So I thought that it was interesting. It was kind of different. It was a sort of different way to do that kind of almost choose your own adventure type story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting little game, pretty short, like 4 to 6 hours or so to play through, and it told a decent little story. So definitely recommend, especially if you have Games Pass. Like, it was a good little play through. So that was my first one for this month.
Nice. My first one for this month was the Fatesworn DLC for Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
You sound way less enthusiastic.
Well, put it in perspective. I finished Kingdoms of Amalur last year. I got to the end of my hard mode run and thought I was done. The DLC comes up. I'm like, okay, I'll play that. I go to the area, so I knock the difficulty down to easy because I'm like, well,
like you do.
There's no difficulty achievement. I'm just going to do it on easy.
Yeah.
I go to the area. All the enemies are red bar health. So red is like at least 5 levels higher than you. Amber, I think, is 3.
Okay.
And then like green is about your level, and then grey is pushover.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's see how I get on with this. Do the first dungeon. Get halfway through. I've broken all of my equipment, used all of my repair stuff because my weapons are doing 5 damage at a time.
Oh boy.
I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, do I have an old save for my like high level previous run character? Nope. Because it doesn't give you set character slot saves, it's all still the same. So I must have deleted over my character as I was doing my hard run. Because I didn't think I was going to need it. Because I thought, this includes all of the original DLC. I'm sure there won't be any more. Never think that, ever. Because they'll just come out with it just to spite your brain for thinking that there won't be more DLC. So I was like,
There's
okay,
I'm
going to look up online and try and find out what level I need to be to actually attempt this. Level 32. I was level 20.
No.
Cue 30 hours of grinding before I can even attempt the DLC.
No.
So I'm already annoyed.
Yep.
At that point, because I'm like, that's 30 hours I'm never getting back. I get to the DLC. I check achievement guides for it. Oh, by the way, you have to do all of the side quests, but the tracker is glitchy. You have to get the side quests from the person that gives you the side quest, but don't accidentally go to a location where you could pick up the item that they want before you get the quest, because it might glitch and not count the quest. So I followed a guide, and I saved before picking up a quest and handing in a quest every time. It failed to track 5 times. I had to reload and then hand the quest in and check and make sure it added on the 3% each time.
Oh my god.
Then they add a new enemy. You can't damage the new enemy with the weapons that you have. You have to get these special chaos weapons because they have this like armor that you can't penetrate with your normal weapons. So none of the items that you have previously can work on these enemies. So you have to forge a new sword. Well, you find your first one, the game gives you it, and then it's like, okay, you can make, if you have a high enough crafting skill, you can make new weapons. And I'm like, okay. By the way, we're going to add all these rifts in that you have to close. And they're all full of chaos enemies. So you're going to need the chaos weapons. There's 25 of them. Have fun. They're also all not in the new area. They're scattered across the entire map, excluding the DLC areas. So I think it's Dead Kel's Island and the place where the Colossuses are. They're not there, but they're all over the rest of the map. I was already feeling like this is taking too long.
Well, yeah, after 30 hours of grinding, of course you were.
The main plot felt kind of wishy-washy at best. It's like, here's a new enemy for you to fight, and they're bringing chaos into the world, and because you're you're a fateless one, it's kind of your fault that this is happening, because you've kind of messed up the weave of fate, and so chaos is leaking into the world, so it's your fault that this is happening, and you need to go and sort it out.
Oh boy.
And then at the end of the game, they're like, well, you only sorted it out this time, so we want you to leave the entire continent.
You only sorted it out this time.
Exactly. It's like, Thanks for helping us. Now go away. And so they shove you on a ship and make you leave at the end. And I was just like, oh, this is a lovely payoff.
Great.
So my my experience with that DLC was like, and this is everything I hate about DLCs. And I hate that I've backed myself into a corner with my completion percentage that I feel I have to keep playing them because it kind of makes the previous effort that you put in feel kind of pointless if you don't continue to get all your completions because you went and did them in the past. Because it's like,
now that you've got a perfect record, you have to keep a perfect record.
Yeah, unless there's unobtainables.
Right.
Which I can't. Like, I have 53 of those anyway, but it's like, if a new game has unobtainables, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the beginning of my my month.
Sounds like a great start.
So what was your second game of March?
So my second game of March was I did another little Games Pass game called Kentucky Route Zero. And the reason why I did this one, it's an Annapurna interactive game, and they do some good story-based things. Now the things that they do is
eluding
me. Please hold.
Please hold while we consult Google, the great oracle of our time.
So Annapurna Interactive, they have done some games like Donut County, which was a fun little game. The Outer Wilds, which you enjoyed.
Outer Wilds is great.
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Another good one.
Stray, which I haven't played yet, but would like to. So they do some interesting little games, and so it was gonna go off of Games Pass halfway through March, and so I was like, oh, I would like to check that out before it goes off of Games Pass. So that's why I played this one during the month, and I finished it like on the 15th.
Yeah.
Because I messed around and just didn't play it the weekend before because I got distracted by other things. But
quick,
luckily it was
Run.
Not very long. So it was another weird one. Not weird in the same way that Scorn was weird. Weird.
I did Google the chickens. They did look weird.
They're so weird.
Like, what is this? Looks like
this
a chicken
one was like
bread with a tulip.
Yeah. This one was you play as, it's another kind of text-based adventure kind of thing. You are a truck driver, and he and his dog who are going to deliver their last delivery, I guess, and it's kind of up to you, as a lot of things are in this game, to decide what last delivery means, right? Like, is he retiring? Is the shop that he's working for shutting down? And so when people ask you questions, you get to pick from a list of those things, right? Like, oh, it's your last delivery. Why is it your last delivery? Oh, well, so-and-so is closing up the shop, or, yeah, I decided it's time for retirement, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of build the story of these characters because you play more than just him as you kind of play along, and you go down this road, Kentucky Route Zero, which is a road that doesn't really exist on the map, but you can get there by doing some shenanigans. It's like, go here, turn around, and wait 5 seconds, and then the road appears, or something.
It sounds like trying to get to Davy Jones's locker in the third Pirates movie, where it's like, you have to get really lost first, and then fall off the world.
And then fall off the edge of the world, yeah. It's one of those weird things. So it's very surrealist. This is definitely like a surrealism kind of game and kind of story. And so you meet a bunch of characters, and then you can answer as different ones, and you learn more about kind of their lives and their personalities and their goals. And a lot of them seemed to have sort of things that were unfinished or unresolved for them. And you're going along this road together trying to get to a destination. And it's up to interpretation as to what this is really about, and is this a metaphor for like life or death or
Purgatory.
Purgatory, or just something that's kind of strange, right? And it has that sort of, you make your own meaning out of a lot of it. And so there's a lot of there's some bits of exploration where you can go and explore different parts, but a lot of it is mostly that kind of making choices, dialogue choices, and kind of directing the characters. I thought it was interesting, and it was one of those things where it's like every now and then it's okay to do something like that, and you feel like, oh, I'm sort of thinking about life, the universe, and everything, and you feel like you have one of those moments where you're thinking deep thoughts. But I don't want to be there for a long time. So
those thought-provoking games
yeah,
are good when you've had a few normal ones in between.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that I like to do all the time, but it's something that's interesting every now and again, and it wasn't very long. I think it took about 10 hours to complete when all was said and done. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but not by much. And so I think, it didn't overstay its welcome.
And I think a good thing with those games is when the developers don't give out answers as to what's going on, so that people can keep their interpretations as like, this is my kind of truth for the story.
Yeah.
And so different people will take different things from the game, and so I feel like that's a deeper meaning to it when it's like it changes depending on who you are and how you play. And
yeah, no, for sure. And like what little flavor you give to it based on the things that you either interpret or the different dialogue that you have.
yeah,
And you can find some more insight into some of the things by replaying through sections and making different dialogue choices, right? And so you find out a little bit, maybe more about what's going on or what a person is feeling or thinking about, which is kind of interesting. So it's good for, having a couple of playthroughs to be able to see some of that and experience all of it. Also, interestingly, I think that it was a game that came out over like a decade or something. It was originally like a PC game, and they released little bits of it here and there, like little snippets. And it took a long time for them all to come out, and the one that was released on consoles was like the compilation of all of it.
the complete edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, yes, it was an interesting game. I would say, I definitely liked Beacon Pines better, just as a more traditional kind of story, right?
Yeah.
But Kentucky Route Zero is one of those ones that's like, it's worth doing if you're into that kind of surrealism stuff.
So my next game and my second DLC of the month was Human Fall Flat. And
again,
I mean, I have no problem with Human Fall Flat. It's like, it adds a level. The level takes 1 to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just more of the same. It's like, do these couple of miscellaneous tasks and finish the level.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, cool. Job done. Completion back. Wait for next level in a couple of months' time. And it's good because...
What kind of game is Human Fall Flat?
It's like a platforming, but it's... You control the physics of your arms. And so you like have to grab onto ledges and pick up items and pull levers. It's like... This one was trying to like use batteries to open doors and get... It was called Copper. And so it was like foundry type level with conveyor belts and furnaces and batteries, and it's like puzzles and platforming. So it was like, okay, this door won't open. Why won't the door open? Oh, there's a furnace. Okay, can I fill the furnace with coal? Well, the furnace isn't on. Well, there's got to be a torch around here somewhere that I can put it, because it's similar to what's happened before. So you're like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So you put the coal in the furnace, and the little dial goes up to maximum, and so you then set fire to it. But it's like, where is the torch? And by torch, I mean flaming torch, not British English torch flashlight. And so it's like, okay, so you figure that out, that opens the door to the next section. And then in this one, it was like, you have to find the 4 copper coins and throw them off the edge of the world. And so there was one right behind you at the start, like in a slightly broken wall, and there was a few scattered around. Then there was another one for putting a square battery in a round hole. So you have to figure out how to make a square battery, which is find a box, put it in this little like converter, convert it to a square, and then make it back through the pistons that are going across and put it in where the circular battery would go. And so yeah, it's fun just to try and figure out and play through, and then wait for the next one and hope that they don't release another one with broken achievements, because one of them had that for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
I think I'll also say, like, I started working on the DLCs for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I'm going to talk about those when I've actually finished the game. And so that will hopefully be April wrap up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking a break at the moment because I've been playing Valhalla a lot, so
yeah,
I'm playing something else for fun. Speaking about playing stuff for fun, I had a week off. I had to use up some holiday because our financial year starts again in April, and I would have lost whatever holiday I had remaining. So I took a week off work, and I was like, I could work on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or I could just play some stuff for fun. And so I got my old 360 out and booted up FIFA that I haven't played in like at least 5, if not more years. This version I hadn't played since like on that account that I was using, because it was my old account, 2010. So it was like 12 and a half years since I'd played the game, and I went, I'll just do a pro player season and play through as a character for some football team. I played for some random Australian team because I was like, ooh, obscure teams that I haven't played for. Yeah. And then I ended up unlocking an achievement 12 and a half years after the previous one, which is like the longest time between achievement unlocks that I've had.
Yeah.
And then
that's cool.
I played through 4 seasons and did the tournament at the end. Sadly, it was a little bit lackluster because the random team generator made the opponents really weak for some reason. I ended up in the last 4 teams in the tournament were England, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and Bulgaria, which is really strange because you'd think at least France or Brazil or Spain would be up there, but I guess the RNG worked weirdly. And then I decided to play some Destiny on my 360 just to see how bad the servers were. They actually worked pretty well. I didn't do any multiplayer. I just did some patrols and messed about trying to one-man a raid for the fun of it, as you do.
As you do.
And like looking at what equipment I had before I transferred my save over to the one, because they split the saves once Rise of Iron came out, and so that character was like a screenshot of my character at the end of Taken King after the like April update before Rise of Iron came out, and I was like, wow, I had so much less stuff. It's fine. Like, I played a lot of Destiny for fun in the years afterwards, in the like, God, 2016 would be when Rise of Iron came out, so like 6-7 years worth of me playing it. It's a lot of stuff. To acquire.
Lots of things. Lots of different things.
A little bit of Civilization Revolution just for fun, because I enjoyed that game back in the day, and I did some Skyrim, because Skyrim is always
a nice
good
chill
for some
game.
chill
Yeah.
and just make a random character and just run around.
Nice.
Like,
Yep.
ignoring the main quest and exploring.
And just exploring stuff. That's cool.
So yeah, it was nice. It was a nice change of pace after the disappointment that was Kingdoms of Amalur, and like, I
Yeah.
don't want to stress myself out on my time off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do something that I know that I enjoy and doesn't necessarily have achievements in it.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was just good it was a nice palate cleanser.
That's good. That's good. Between frustrating things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because after what you said about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I was like, that's going to get tedious at the end, because there's like challenge mode stuff that I'm currently working on and deciding that it's like, nah, I'm good. I've done enough for the moment. Can I go hide now?
I would like to not to be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you were able to take a little bit of a break and play some things, just replaying some stuff for fun that you don't feel like you have to do a whole playthrough of, or that you don't have to be worrying about the achievements on. You know, that's nice. It feels like just chill, and that you don't have to feel beholden to it, you know?
Yeah, and it's like how we used to play before achievements were a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Like,
No, it's not.
Because we hammer through games so quickly, we sometimes forget it's supposed to be a hobby and not an achievement and trophy hunting job.
Exactly. Right? Well, so rounding out my list of shorty things that I did last month, because I did some shorties, and then I didn't play anything for like almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I was wrapping up a job that I've had for a long time. I'm
as
going
long as
out
we've known
on my
each
own.
other, I think you were just starting when we first became friends.
Yep. And so I'd been working there for about 9 years in total. And
I guess you must have been working there a bit before we became friends, and then you were like officially working
there afterward. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I did my internship with them.
That was it. Your internship came to an end.
Yeah, the internship ended, and then I got hired on. And so I'd been there for a long while, and it might not quite have been 9 years. It might have been, 9 years this summer, but either way.
Still. 8.5 years is still a long time.
It's a long time. And I was leaving that job and going into my own business. So it was, it was kind of a busy time. And so I just kind of took a little break from being worried about gaming stuff. But
there are more important things.
there might be more important things in this world. But
really?
I did play another little game that was a short, like less than 10 hours, like 8 to 10 hours maybe, game called Cat Quest on PlayStation. And it was cute. So you play as this cat venturer who is trying to save the country of Felingard. From an evil mage who is also a cat. All the characters are cats. So except for the dragons. So, and the enemies. So the evil mage cat and his dragons that he's releasing on the world. And so it's a typical little RPG thing that is reminiscent of some of the older Legend of Zelda type things where you go over the overworld and have random stuff
Link to the
attacking
Past,
you.
Link's Awakening type era.
Yeah. Or the older Final Fantasies or whatnot, right? Where you're just going over an overworld map, right? And so you go through little dungeons, you find treasure, you upgrade your equipment, you level up, you get more magic spells. So, it's cute. And it's a pretty typical RPG,
Yeah.
old school RPG type thing. They have these puns, like so many cat puns. It's possum. I can't. There were so many cat puns. It was pawful. So that's like, I don't know.
I think there was some lateral damage with that pun.
It was a catastrophe.
Yes.
Catastrophic. I'm gonna claw my eyes out. Okay. So yeah, it was a cute little lighthearted thing. It had the story wasn't bad, actually. It had a pretty decent little story that you were going through, typical fantasy stuff. The mechanics were simple, but they worked. It was like one button to attack, one button to roll away, one button to do magic. And so, sometimes those simplistic controls actually work better than all these complicated things where you're trying to map 16 actions to the same button. You know what I mean? Where they're like, they really want you to have a keyboard where you have, 60 keys that you could be doing different things with, but you just have a controller that has like, what is it?
4 main buttons.
4 buttons, a D-pad, 2 sticks, and 2 triggers.
I guess you could have 12 different things. You have the D-pad, the 4 triggers. Mm-hmm. Well, the triggers and the top 2 buttons, and then the 4.
The triggers and the bumpers, and then the 4 buttons.
I guess, and also the clicking of the stick can also be, because some games have stealth or like lock on enemies.
Yeah. So you have like 14 different things, and but you're trying to do 70 things. I'd like to loot this body,
and instead you're crouching on it. It's like, no, loot.
No. Yeah.
Reload weapon, gets in vehicle.
Yep. I would like to go to my inventory, but it keeps wanting to pick up this item that I'm standing on top of. Yeah. Or like Halo, I want to reload, but I'm standing on a weapon, so it just swaps the weapon.
Yep.
Ugh.
What happened to my pistol? Oh, I think it was back there. I picked all the ammo up from it.
Great. So yeah, anyway, all of that to say, the mechanics were simple, but they worked well because they weren't too complicated and it wasn't trying to do too much. The only thing that was a little bit grindy at the end because you needed to level up to level 99 for one of the trophies, but doing all the quests and all the dungeons only got you to around level like 80-ish. So you had to grind, 15 to 20 levels there at the end, but it didn't take too long. It was maybe an hour of doing the same dungeon a few times in order to get the
wasn't like my 30 XP. Hours of grinding.
Nope,
at least.
I was just thinking that. I was like, after you just did 30 hours of grinding to get 12 levels, it took me less than an hour probably to get the last 20. So not too terrible in the grand scheme of things.
Puts it in perspective.
Sometimes we need that perspective, right?
Well, there was someone was complaining about Coffee Talk and the having to do the art on the cups for an hour, and we want to stop them from putting that in the second game. Because stop these new games having these things. And I was like, you do realize it's not a new thing. They've been doing that forever in games where they just put random stuff or
or you have to grind for however long doing
random things that cause you to grind for I need to get to level 99, or I need to put coffee art on something for 3 days.
Yeah, or I need to collect 7,000 things.
or spend an hour using your super or something in like a Destiny type game,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
why? If
Why
it's not
these
natural
arbitrary?
progression, or you're
Yeah.
not close to it by the end of natural progression, and it's like 2 or 3 achievements, it's like, why are these here?
Yeah. No, for
You
sure.
know, salvage 1,000 iron. Why? I've salvaged 200 in my entire playthrough, and I've been breaking down over everything I can.
Yeah.
I was looking at a game that I played back in the day called Risen that they ported to PS4 and Xbox One. They broke one of the achievements where you have to get 300,000 gold by making it so that it doesn't count all the playthroughs that you do. You have to do it in one playthrough, but you can't really do it because there isn't enough gold in the game. So what you have to do is you have to find this like weed. It's like a plant that you can then sell to a merchant. Then you have to attack the merchant, knock him out, steal the stuff back, wait for him to get up, wait for him to stop being scared of you, and then sell it to him again, and rinse and repeat. But you can accidentally kill the merchant, and then you've locked yourself out of getting that achievement.
Oh boy.
It's like,
The
developers,
stupidity.
can you fix this? The game's been out for like more than a month. You need to fix that.
You need to fix that. That's a problem.
That's not right.
Acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable. And you get like 400 gold from it each time you do it, and you need 300,000.
Oh, that poor merchant. He's just been bashed so many times.
It's like a piñata. You just hit him until the money comes out.
Yikes. So anyway, Cat Quest, that was pretty fun. That was my PlayStation, well, one of my PlayStation games for the past month. And then the other one we played together. And that was...
Saints Row Get Out of Hell. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We had played it before on Xbox One.
Yep. And we decided to play it again because we enjoyed it, and nothing like the duo of Kinsey and Gat to bring us some laughs.
Yep. They are fun. I like both of those characters. I think it was a good choice to send Kinsey with him on that quest, right? They played off of each other really well. So
the abilities are really fun. Their allies that you work with were good, like Blackbeard, Vlad the Impaler, Shakespeare, and a couple of characters from the previous games.
Yeah, like being able to see some of the characters from the previous games that are now in hell, because obviously it's set in hell, and you're going after Satan.
Because he's kidnapped the boss of the Saints, because he wants them to marry his daughter.
Yep. And
the musical sequence was so good.
Yes, there was a part where everybody just started singing because for no reason. It was just hilarious. Like that game, the Saints Row series, I guess I haven't played the most recent Abomination.
The reboot? Where they could have made a new franchise, but they just keep trying to reboot things and remaster things.
Tack on this name so that people might buy it and then not like it because it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't the Saints Row that we know. And I guess kudos if you like the game, but it's not Saints Row.
Right, it's some kind of hipster shit. Anyway, it was my impression from the trailer. Obviously, I haven't played it. So, this was old school Saints Row at its best, where it's just the comedy was really funny, the characters were good, it was very straightforward. You know, the goal was to shoot Satan in the face. That's all.
And we did.
That's all we wanted to do.
I like the music as well. That one piece of music that plays in that final sequence is so good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's great.
So, you know, it does what it claims to do, right? Very straightforward. You know, and you get some interesting, like you said, powers. So you get wings, you know, so you can fly around. and different like supernatural abilities.
Yeah, like the different shock waves.
Mhm.
You get the 7 deadly weapons as well, so they're all like
Right.
modeled after the seven deadly sins. So
Mhm.
there's like the greed one, which fires money out of
Yeah.
SMGs that you can then
Yeah.
pick up,
Right.
or like sloth, which is an armchair with miniguns.
Yeah. Lust, which makes the enemies like infatuated with you, and so they run toward you just to get shot in the face.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was creative and interesting and pretty short in terms of the main campaign.
Yeah, I would say that was one of the detriments for it. There was a few
Yeah.
little things, like that one achievement for the landing on 5 vehicles in the insurance fraud without touching the ground
Yeah.
was a bit. That was the only one that we
Finicky.
had trouble with.
Yeah.
And then playing insurance fraud in co-op, for some reason, they just didn't spawn enough vehicles.
Yeah, which was
We
weird because
literally
it
had
would
to
be
go and
like
play
I'm
single player, and then we got it like first attempt, instantly job done, easy, and it was kind of
yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
weird.
It was super strange because it was be like I'd be over here bouncing off of all these vehicles, and you're going, "Where are the cars? There are no cars. Why aren't there cars? I hate you."
I hate you, game. It wasn't your fault.
You're stealing all the cars.
That's what
It's
you
only
did.
spawning cars around you.
Yeah, and it was weird because I was the host, and it was spawning cars on you, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Why is it doing this? Can you stay with me?" And you're on the other side of the map, and I'm like, "Why can't you stay with me so we can both
Because
have
I'm
cars
bouncing on cars.
away
It's like
from
if
me?" That's why there's no
yes,
cars.
because if we're standing in the same place, obviously the only way to go is away.
A likely story. But no, like that
So-
was one of the problems. There were too many challenges. There's like twice as many
Yeah,
challenges
there
as there
were.
are in Saints Row 4.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, why? Why did
And
they
it-
have so many challenges?
And the
Bat Out of
game
Hell?
felt too short. They
Yeah.
had like an epilogue section, which felt like it should have been the next chapter of the game with what they
the
were
next
talking
half of the game,
Yeah,
right?
like the next half of the game. It was almost as if there was that many challenges because they'd envisioned the game being longer.
Right.
But
And then they didn't have time to
They
do
didn't have
it that
time.
long, so they just shortened it to a
20
15 to 20 hour campaign.
I love that my
Actually, it's less than that. The campaign part of it is probably like 5 hours.
5 to 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that my my true achievements time, sorry, my true trophies time says 19 hours and like 40 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have the 20 hour
Right.
play
There's
time.
a trophy to
It's
play
like,
for 20
this
hours.
is slightly inaccurate.
It's not an accurate statistic. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed playing that one again. Aside from the minor frustration with the insurance fraud, it was a fun time.
Yes.
And
And I will also say it did show the collectibles when you were close to them once you
Yeah.
bought the detector,
which is nice.
which is
'Cause
always
then
nice, especially when there's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, well, there weren't that many.
No, not in
But-
this one.
But it's like you don't have to use some kind of guide where you're like, okay, which one out of this 600 things
Did
have
I
I
miss?
missed? It's
Yep.
just you can fly around and then, oh, look, there it is.
And they told you per
So-
section of the city how many collectibles there
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, which was good. So, yeah, so that was our March, which, I think it was a light month, at least for me, and I think for you too, because you took that break.
It was a light month, but it was also things took way longer than I wanted them to
Mm-hmm.
at the start.
Yeah,
With Kingdoms of Amalur just eating like 50 hours when it should have taken 20. It was like, grr.
yeah. No, I hear you. So this is like the first quarter of the year, and of course I wrote on my little notes here, third quarter wrap up. Why I wrote that? Because it was the third month of the year.
Third
so
quarter. So
first quarter.
Welcome to October.
Yep.
I hope that you've chosen a present for my birthday.
Yep. So our first quarter wrap up. And I just thought it might be nice to go through a little rundown of like where we're at with our progress toward goals and things.
Hmm.
Um, do you want to start or you want me to?
Yeah, I can start. I mean,
Mhm.
I think my Xbox goals are to hit 450,000 gamer score,
Mhm.
get back up to 99.7%, which is my like soft 100% because of the unobtainables,
Mhm.
and finish the games. Finish the games that I've started and hit 400 completed games. I
Mhm.
feel like I'm definitely on track to get my 99.7 back because I've gone above 99%
Yeah.
finally. That's taken
Nice.
like 2 or 3 years. It's been sat at like 98 point something, so I've finally cracked that because I've done some Valhalla stuff.
Yeah.
Um, this might be including stuff that I've done in April. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure, but
Yeah.
it's like more of the same kind
Sure.
of like
Yep.
I don't know whether I'm going to hit the 450,000. I'm at like 434. Oh,
Mhm.
37. I just looked at
Mhm.
TA.
Nice.
But that one was more of a like maybe I'll get
Yeah.
that done depending on how much I play.
Mhm.
Um I haven't really started anything new yet because I would like to get my games that I started complete first.
Mhm.
So I feel
Yeah.
like out of the three, I'm on I'm uh on point. That's not what I meant. On schedule to get
Mhm.
those two
Mhm.
complete, and we'll see about the third one. I might have a push at the end of the year, like I do sometimes.
Yeah.
PlayStation wise, I want to hit 75 platinums with Red Dead Redemption 2 as my 75th.
Mhm.
I've done 5 plats.
Mhm.
Some of them were longer games, um, and so I'd need another 15,
Mhm.
and it's a quarter, so
Yeah. Right on
I'm
track.
right on track for that one. I
Mhm.
still haven't done any exclusives, but I kind of have a plan for that.
Cool.
I was going to do it as like 71, 72, 73, and 74 as the 4 Uncharteds that I have to play to just go doof, doof,
Yeah.
doof, 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 and then do Red Dead at the end.
Yeah.
Like nice. Um, but yeah, I need to play some exclusives
Mhm.
at some point.
Yep.
Really, I'm just like trying to find the enjoyment again
Yeah.
in gaming, and so I'm just kind of playing what I want to.
Yeah. Which is totally fair, you know. If you're not enjoying it, at least overall, if you're not enjoying your experience with gaming, then it's like, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, that's what Xbox feels like at the moment, but that's more of a hole that I dug myself into.
Yeah. So,
And also, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is just not that fun for me. I just
yeah.
it just irritates me more than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, it's just sad, really, because I like the Assassin's Creed series, but Mirage might be the first one that I don't buy within the first month
Hmm. Yeah.
because I'm I'm at the point where I'm like, because I've been buying games on PlayStation at discount and having the full games out, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I bought
Yeah.
the Ultimate Edition for like £12, £15. I got
Right.
everything for that game, like
Yeah.
all the DLCs, a bunch of extra stuff, which like I've spoilers, I've started playing it in April. Um
Mhm.
I got a few trophies early because I had like some legendary equipment that was like
Yeah.
stuff that you get as bonuses. And I was like, that's cool. Um, and then I got Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation for free with it
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
included in the Ultimate Edition. And I'm like, why am I going to buy a game day one when I don't know what the achievements are going to be, how many
Mhm.
DLCs it's going to have? And then there's
Yep.
bundles where I can get like extra stuff if I just wait a couple of years. Am I really
Right.
missing out? I don't know as the story in Assassin's Creed is like, oh my god, I need to know what happens. which is what it
Right
was like.
away.
Which is what it was like with Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood Revelations. Like that plot line, I was like, I need to know, play this game. But after like the Desmond stuff, it just kind of nosedived, sadly.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be more like that, especially on Xbox going forward, is maybe waiting longer for games, because PlayStation with the Platinum and not having to worry about DLCs, it's way more inviting to just go, I'll just buy the game, not worry about any of the extra stuff, and then if I want to do the DLC at a later date, I can get it on sale.
For sure.
So yeah,
Makes sense.
That's my first quarter and kind of where my headspace is at the moment.
Nice. For my first quarter of 2023, so going down the list kind of goal by goal, for Xbox, I had a goal to reach 435,000 gamer score, and that would have been an increase of 23,000, which means that I would have needed between 5,000 and 6,000 to be on track there, and I had about 6,500 at the end of March, which means I am on track for that goal.
Awesome.
If not a teensy bit ahead, which is great.
Which is never bad, yeah.
Nope. For PlayStation, I wanted to hit 50 platinums this year, and so that was an increase of 18, which means I would have needed between 4 and 5 to be on track for that. I only got 3 because I spent a lot of my PlayStation time doing DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn and then playing Horizon Forbidden West, which was long as shit. Yeah. But so I'm a little bit behind on the platinum front, so I'm gonna try to pick that up here in the second quarter of the year. For my backlog games, I wanted to get 25 games off of my backlog this year, which again would be around like 6 games, 6 to 7. I had done only 4, so I'm a little bit behind on that one as well, but that is because of the next 2 things, which is Games Pass games. I had a goal to play 10 of them in order to get like my money's worth out of the year's purchase, right? And so I've played 5 already, which is halfway to the goal at a quarter of the year. So I'm way ahead on that one. And DLCs, I had 3 DLCs that I wanted to finish up for Resident Evil 6, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I finished all of those. So that goal is complete at this point.
I wanted to keep up with title updates, and I did the title update for Human Fall Flat, so I kept up with that one as well.
Sweet. So I feel like all in all, I feel on track. I'm a little ahead in some things and a little behind in others, but I feel like it'll all come out in the wash, hopefully. All things going as they have been. So I'm feeling pretty good about the beginning of the year.
With you having like transitioned to your new job, there isn't going to be so much chaos, hopefully, going forward. And so that will hopefully give you more time and maybe more impetus to play a little bit more. Because you said you like missed 3 weeks. And I think I missed like 2 weeks with, because I had 10 days off. And so I missed like 2 weeks worth of time gaming, and so I maybe could have got more done. Like I would have got more of Valhalla done. But no, I feel like we've given ourselves way more reasonable goals than we have done in the past, and to feel like we're on track with what we've done and not feeling like we're behind. Is great.
Which is what I feel like. In the past, I've set myself such unrealistic goals before that's what it always felt like. It was like, I'm behind. Well,
I did the same. Like that first, 2016, After my mad 2015, I set myself such unbelievable goals that my Xbox committed suicide to save me from myself. It was like, no, you cannot do this.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for your own good.
We have to be realistic, and I think that when you set realistic expectations for yourself with what you're able to accomplish in a certain time frame, I think that's way better than trying to, just set yourself up for failure.
Well, and especially with
pressured.
us having a far more broad interest base than we used to, with having movie night and D&D several times a week, and reading reading more, trying to read more. It's just like gaming has had to take a step backwards. And also trying to split time between PlayStation and Xbox. Yep. You're not going to be doing as much on the one that you spent all your time on before, because you're literally using that time to play something else. And so having them combined in your head is like, this is my gaming time. And so I think a reasonable goal for us over a year is like 30 completed games, whether that's platinums or 100%.
Yeah.
And so having that as a good split, like, oh, I did 20 platinums and I got 10 games done on Xbox. That's great. Or I only got 25. That's still really good. That's still progress.
Yeah, that's a good year when it's 25, games that are actually of some length.
Yes, I'm meaning like the ones that are like between let's say 20 and 50 hours.
50 hours, yeah.
And then there's the outliers like Red Dead that's going to be over 200 probably.
Right. And then you have your shorties like that I played this past month where they were all, less than 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah, whereas the ones I've played have been longer, like Cyberpunk was over 100.
Yep.
And then Deus Ex was not much short of 100. I think it was 80. Okay, that's like 20% less, but still. And then,
it still is a lot. It's a lot of hours, right?
Deus Ex and Mirror's Edge took about the same amount of time, like 60. Oh, God, actually, I might be lying. Mirror's Edge may have taken a lot less, like 60 hours. Anyway, they're all above 50. And Just Cause was more than 100 with all the DLCs. Yeah. But it's just, sometimes it's good to get some of those long ones done because it makes you feel like you've actually, I haven't got all of these left until the end of my backlog.
Right. Yeah. It's not like, well, I did all of the things that are short and felt like I had this great momentum with completing things, and now it's on to the slogs, right? It's good to break things up. I played Horizon Forbidden West in February, and that took the vast majority of my gaming time for that whole month. And so in March, I was like, I want to play a few shorter things because I played a really long thing the month before. So that was kind of the goal, is to just mix things up.
I've just looked at all my times completely wrong. So it was 43 hours for Mirror's Edge, 87 hours for Just Cause 3, 61 hours for Deus Ex, and 111 hours for Cyberpunk. So they were all more than 30 hours. They were all more than 40 hours, which to us is on the longer side of gaming.
Well, it's a longer side of, when you have games that can be completed in minutes, those are quite long.
Yes.
And when you think about when you have short games that can be completed in less than 10 hours, even something that's 40 hours, that's 4 times as long.
Yeah.
Right?
That'll take you a month.
That's 4 games that you could have completed in that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But all in all, I think we're doing well.
Indeed. I'm happy with my year so far, and I'm looking forward to the weather being warmer and maybe
there being some sun, although it's rained for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
in the UK. I'm just like, ugh.
I'm looking forward to not driving in the snow, and having my own, being my own boss. Like, that's great. I'm really happy about that change in my, actual, personal life, which is cool.
Yep, and I'm looking
So,
forward to dealing with the Xbox shackles that I've made for myself.
and getting those done.
Yes,
So,
a bit
cool.
a bit more freedom for the both of us.
Indeed.
In different aspects of our lives.
Well, so that is our March wrap up. Let us know how you guys are doing, what you've been playing, how your year is going so far. We always love to hear it. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next month.
Bye-bye.